Well, good evening, guys. Hope y'all have had a nice week so far. I mean, here it is, getting on toward the end of the week. And hey, we're dealt one day at a time. That's all we can deal with. So no matter what day of the week it is, we just get one day at a time. Now, with that said, and tonight, I'd like to answer, I got a request, a statement, I'm not sure exactly, it was in the form of an email. And this guy says to me, okay, he said, I've been listening to all the episodes. I've not done anything yet, but I got a couple of questions for you. And I'm thinking, okay. So he's got them delineated there, what he wanted. He said, first off, is this one of them motivational things where you just do a bunch of rah-rah, but you don't do it yourself, so you're just throwing it out there and hoping people will do it and it'll be good for them? No, quite the opposite. This is what I've followed all my life since I was old enough to know that these things would be effective, which was early on in my life. And that's what I have followed. Every business that I've had, my time in the service, everything, I have followed this right to the point. And when you get off target, you think, oh, that ain't working out. You go back to your plan, and sure enough, you left something out, you didn't follow up on something with yourself, and it's like, okay, that didn't work out too well. You get back on your plan, back on target, and here we go. So, every business that I've ever had, everything I've ever done, I've followed this to a T. And does it work? Yes, it does. Now, what you put in is what will come out. I mean, there's no more, no less. As one guy said, life will give you exactly what you ask. No more, no less. You ask a penny, it'll give you a penny. You ask $1, it'll give you $1. So whatever you ask, it will give you, but it won't give you more than what you've asked for. So bear that in mind as we go forth. So I'm saying to him, this video is not, I won't call his name, so I'm not going to send it just specifically to him, but I will answer his email, and here's pretty much what I'll say. Yes, I have done this, followed it all my life. No, this is not one of the motivational things on it. And I would say that, here's what I would say to him too. Why did you go to school? Why did I go to school? Why did you folks go to school? You said, well, my parents told me to go, or my parents made me go, or it was kind of the law. Well, okay, well, what did we learn in school? Reading, writing, arithmetic. Okay, well, we learned those. Well, naturally we did, because now then, most folks can, and we learned typing, but we didn't say that at the start. So you got your keyboards now, either your devices that you have can have your keyboard that you have on your computer, but we also learned how to type. Now, sometimes I type by the H and P method, hunt and peck, but I do okay at typing. I get the message across. And you learn more and more and more and more. And if you set your mind to it, to become speedy on that, well, remember what I said. If it's something that you truly want to learn, and you're willing to put at least 1 hour per day of concentrated time in it, there you go. Well, anyway, I will say to him, you evidently have mastered the reading, writing, arithmetic. You've proven that you have, a grasp of the English language and how to write something in a condensed form to get your point across. I got that. And I'm going to make the assumption that you can write or print, and that's fine. And that you have paper to do it with. I know that sounds a little silly or a little simple, but take you a blank sheet. There it is. Something to write with. And that's how my business is started. Blank sheet of paper, pen, and if I started with someone, then we made the commitment to each other first, is what we're going to do, and wrote out our business plan. Now, because it is your business plan, you have the right to change things around a little bit. If you go in one direction and say, well, that's not going to be good for our company, and you can change it. That's up to you. That's entirely up to you. But the point is that you've made your plan and that you're willing to go forth with it. And like I'll write in the email back to this fellow tonight, yes, it does work. The only thing I ask is that you be true to yourself, that you have in mind, you take in mind your 2 steps, know exactly what you want, and number 2, be willing to do whatever it takes to accomplish number 1. I know that sounds pretty simple, a little bit redundant, kind of circular, but it is in fact that. If you're willing to, and you make the commitment to yourself. Now, he did mention on it. He said, how do I know how I'm doing? And I said, well, I will say to him this. You are the one that will ask yourself, how am I doing? Because I can tell you right now, if you go to people out there on the street and say, hey, how am I doing? As soon as they find out what you're doing, they're going to step on your dream a little bit. So be ready for that if that's what you choose to do. And they can dishearten you pretty quick because they're going to tell you all of the things that will fail. But then again, you ask yourself, do they have a business? No. Oh, well then how would they tell you about how to run your business? They couldn't. So think about that. Because what this has taught you also is how to think. So with that in mind, is one of the things I used to tell people, if you're looking to make $100,000 a year, don't talk to a bunch of people who make $10,000 a year because they don't know how to do it. Move a step up. Ask somebody who made $200,000 a year or is making $200,000 a year on a consistent basis. Get some ideas from that. Also, the people that you look at and you think, okay, that guy's successful, or that woman, or whomever, or that company, talk to the people that's in that company, you know, and the ones that run the show, so to speak, and just ask them questions. And if they tell you they're not going to answer it, well, okay, fine. But people aren't usually that rude. They'll share things with you, and you can sift through what they're saying and think, okay. But you will find that any successful business, these guidelines that I'm sharing with you, they have followed those in some form. Now, it may not be exactly what I have written out here and have written out and asking you to write out for yourself, but I can tell you that it is in a onward direction and it has a lot of these similarities to this because that's exactly how you do it, is you sit down, make you up a plan, because without making up a plan and starting to move forward, you can sit there for the rest of your life. And if you're not willing to do, remember what I said, step 2, be willing to do and do. Now, you can be willing all day long to do something, but if you don't do it, it's not going to get done. This is your plan. Don't look for somebody else to do it, because why would you share your dream with somebody else? Because they're going to look at it differently and say, no, you got this wrong, got that wrong. How do they know that? It's yours, Y-O-U-R-S, and treat it just that way. Now, when you down the road somewhere, they may come back to you and say, man, you got this thing going on. They're going to start asking you how you done it. Well, share it with them. They're not going to take your business away, but share with them how you've done that. And they may want to ask you some questions at that time. How'd you do that? Well, share it with them. That's how we do this thing. So, I will answer him back tonight, but just some of the things that I will answer is I'm going to make the assumption in a couple of things that he is in fact is shooting straight with me. He really wants to know, and I'm going to shoot straight with him. Yes, I have followed this all my life, and 99% of this stuff is all mine. I didn't go out there and try to gather something up. This is things that I have followed, and that's how I know they work, because I followed them. You know, sometimes when you follow other stuff, people's stuff that you think, that sounds a little too good to be true. I better check it out. It might be. Because if you have to go to too many sources to get things apart from you, and there's too much involvement in starting it that you're not aware of or that you're not counted on in the business, I'd quiz that a little bit. So when you start out, it's going to be yours, so think it through. Now, you don't have to go all the way down to the end. That's not what I'm saying. Think about what you're doing. Is this something I really love? Oh yeah, I'm compassionate. I am passionate about this. That's your starting place right there. Now, don't be letting someone step on your dreams. Don't let them tell you that won't work, because most people are going to tell you right quick, but that ain't going to work. You just, well, get off of that wagon. I don't know so much about that. I've had a lot of people, I messed up 2 or 3 times, and people see what I was doing, and it wasn't in a strong enough position to where I could ward people off. And right quick, a lot of them would tell me, Sammy, you know that ain't going to work. That'll fail. I knew so-and-so had done this, and that failed, and he was in bankruptcy. And after a while, he said, enough. So let me try. If I fail, okay, then let me fail. Don't let me go on somebody else said, let me fail. And if that's what it comes down to, I'll say, okay, I must have messed up somewhere along the way. Let me go back to my plan and see what I did not follow. And it'll all be right there. Because like I say, any successful person or business, they've had to follow these things along the way. They've been true to themselves. They have stuck to their plan. They have been hard at work at it when other people are out having fun, going on picnics, doing this, vacations, and all this other. Nothing against those things, but let them come in their due time. So right now, and if you're serious about starting this and serious about asking yourself to get into it, when I say into it, and you're saying into what? Into you, into the business that you're wanting to do, something you've passionately thought about. Well, if you're ready to step up to the plate, so to speak, well then let's do that. Now, pick up your blank sheet of paper, and this is how my last business that I had started right there, in here. And yes, it was with a pen. Now, a couple of times I had to mark stuff out that was in pen and go back, but I still wrote it in pen again on the redirect. And the stuff that from where we started here at the front, out here to the end, was right along the plan. You're saying, well, how could you know that? No, it's not knowing what's going to come out. It's knowing you and the commitment that you have to what you're doing. That's how it comes around. It's along the way, if you get distracted and say, well, let me call on somebody else. Who are you going to call on? You're the one. You might say, okay, I can't motivate myself. And you better, because it being up to you to get done, and you say, okay, I'm not going to do anything to it. I'm tired of it. I'm just going to go back to working for somebody else on a thing and the heck with it. That's not a good sign, because you're trying to tell yourself, I'm just going to take the fire extinguisher to this dream that I had this fire about. I'm just going to try to snuff it out. It ain't that easy. Even if you do retract for a while, go back to just working for somewhere on the thing, just on an hourly rate or whatever, it bugs you back up here. You think, man, maybe I should have done this or this. Don't get into that trap with yourself. Did I say it's going to be easy? No. I said it's going to be tough. It's going to try you in so many different ways. And brother, I have been in them shoes, and I know what it is. To a lot of times you think it'd be nice to go out to eat, but me and my business partner, we just have a hot dog, and like, okay, all right, better times coming. And then people, after you've done it, they'll come to you and say, you're so lucky to have your own business like that. Kind of makes you laugh about it, because you're thinking, yeah, maybe I am. But I can remember people, and you don't say it, but you think to yourself, I can remember people like you trying to squash me like a bug and step over my dreams on the thing. But here we are. So it's not a vengeful thing that you're after. That's not what it is. It's something that's a self-satisfying thing, I guess, if you will. It's being true to yourself and say, okay, I am willing to buckle down on this thing and get with the program. And that's all it takes. It really is all it takes. I don't want to oversimplify it, but I do want to simplify it. You make your plan, write the thing down, and follow it. That's all there is to it. There is nothing else. You don't reach out in the ethereal somewhere and get this big premonition come to you some night. No, that's not what it's about. You follow that plan, and it teaches you how to think, teaches you how to put you to practical application, and that's what you want. It's something where you can put you in practical application relative to what you're doing, so that it's meaningful for you in the direction of your business. So no need to go on any further. I just wanted to share those things with you for tonight. And for those of you that are willing to start this, I congratulate you. And along the way, leave me comments on the thing, leave me questions or whatever on the thing. And as we get further into it, those of you that do want my email on it, I'll be glad to email. I'll converse with you on it, because it's not that hard. And you're saying, are you sure? You said it was. It is hard along the way, but it's not that hard to start. You got to sit down with yourself and say, okay, what else do I need to start? You got some paper here. You got me a pen here. And you said, well, where do I get the capital to start? Nobody said you had to start out on the top with $1 million of this and that. No, we all have the same amount of time. Use your time usefully and wisely, and you'll find that as it starts clicking, things come together better and better and better. And I go back through my life and I think, wow, so many things just came into play at the right time. And it's quite uncanny. And it's things that you will share about your business, your journey of life, if you will, when you're further down on the journey, you think, well, I think back on this, and all of a sudden this person come into my life, and I got this idea from them, then I just don't see them much anymore. They're still around, but I don't converse with them much. And then another one comes in, and but it's in business somewhere on the thing, maybe contribute some little something to you. That's exactly what it takes, because as you are more and more doing this, you start to attract people to you. And people, oddly enough, when they see that you're really dug in and doing it, there'll be some people out there that will want to help you. I mean, not everybody will. Didn't say they would. Some of them won't step on you. But there's a lot out there that'll be wanting to help you. There have been a lot come along in my life that when they see some of the struggle, you're on the struggle bus. And I'm telling you what, thing ain't got no gas, it got no oil, but you want it to go. But it's called a struggle bus, and that's exactly what it is. And they will come along, and all of a sudden they seem like they put oil in the crankcase, put gasoline in the tank, and the old bus starts to move along. You think, wow, that's pretty nice. And you think, well, gosh, I can't pay them back. They didn't ask for no payment back on the thing. They were just there for that brief period to help you. It's really amazing what it is. But anyway, no need to go further on. I thank you for your time. And if this is meaningful to you, give me a like, give me a subscribe there. I sure would appreciate it. And I hope you guys have a wonderful evening.